everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 18th, The Rookie Season 4 episode review. Wow, I can't believe that, once again, Rookie pulls up another great episode, another heartwarming episode in a way of speaking, and once again, they just continue to do no wrong with the show. This season has been great so far. We're going into our last Rookie hiatus next week. Next week is the last week of break, and then we're in a full run for a month till the finale. So next week is our last week where we're off for the Rookie, and then after that, it's basically a straight run for us till the end, which I'm very, very excited for, and also very, very sad that another Rookie season is coming to a close. We still have 4 episodes left and 6 more weeks of coverage after the next 2 weeks, but I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it a lot. But anyway, I'll explain all that towards the end. But this week, it's great. It's heartwarming. It's loving. The Rookie pulls off another great episode, as always. Bringing back a surprising character. Made it all wholesome. Still thinking my theory that I said earlier this season kind of wrong, because either it's going to be a very last minute thing or it may just not happen. Who knows? But more about that in a second. Let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. Just making sure. I'm just checking my phone clock, making sure we're fine. We are good. Anyway, so we begin the episode with Nyla Harper watching James in bed, apparently since 3 a.m. in the morning, which I'm like, that's definitely not creepy at all. Eventually he does wake up, and Harper was thinking to herself, like, she's been having those morning thoughts, as people do when they wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. And she wants to get married to him, even though that they've only been dating for less than a year. The main pinnacle was that some guy at the center, at the community center, literally just called her, "Oh, you're James's baby mama." And she's like, "I don't like that at all. So guess what? You are marrying me." And he says yes, and it's all happy. But of course, you get that one brief shot of James's face, like, "Did I just say yes? Did I just agree to the marriage already?" Bit odd, but whatever the case may be. Anywho, so that happens, and then we proceed to go forward into the episode where, well, there's other things going on, but yeah, Harper tells Diaz the news, and Lopez the news, and why am I so confused? I think it's Lopez. Yeah, it's probably Lopez. Yeah, so the news, and she's happy. She wants to throw her a big engagement a big party to celebrate it. Even though this is kind of like a courthouse wedding, that's basically all they agreed to do. So she wants to do that, and it seems like everything's fine. Nothing's going on. But back at the rec center, not the rec center, the community center, turns out James is not 100%. Like he wants to marry Harper. It is something that crossed his mind before, but he's always expected it to be he's proposing. And I love one little inkling, as well as it just spawns the fact, oh, she's only doing this because someone called her his baby mama. That's it. It didn't really come out inclined of like, we are in love, this is the right step. It didn't really come off as that. And honestly, I don't blame him. Like it's not the hopeful reason isn't being stated, so he is very concerned that this might not be the case. So I'm not surprised with that matter. But yeah. Meanwhile, what else is going on is I guess Nolan and Cassie. No, guys, I'm thinking of Walker. His girlfriend are just anxious to get another date night going. It's been a while since their schedules have been all over the place, but even though they live together, they haven't had a proper date night in a while, so they really want to make tonight work, and that seems to be the case. Bradford gets the credit for I want to say it's an offhand case, and Chen just said I got punched in the face during that case. Like, what case was that? I don't remember. My brain is bad. I'm sorry if I actually did forget. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks of doing this. I apologize. But she's kind of mad that Bradford's taking the credit for the arrest again, and Bradford's like, who cares? You got the job done. The guy's behind bars. Isn't that all that matters? Not because whose name's on the report. So she's feeling a little off about that. Gray does orders Bradford to take Aaron along with him for the next couple days, riding with him, just to kind of mix up his training a little bit, get him some more experience. So Chen's riding with Nolan, which is going to be interesting. Aaron has not had much Bradford time in a while, I don't think ever. So this would be interesting to see what the dynamic is between these two. Easily does not make a very good first impression with Bradford trying to like kiss up to him, trying to like praise him for being this old great person. It's like, shut up, don't kiss ass me, don't. Which I love Bradford so much, I really do. And also this is great because like Aaron wasn't on last week, last week's return, and this is a great opportunity for him to like kind of figure out who is Aaron after everything that happened in his episode, not the last one, the one before that. What is he now? Like, what's next for him? So that's kind of what we're figuring out this week. So I believe we split off all into there. Oh yeah, I forgot. So what's going on with James in the community center with Wesley and the kid from last year, the kind of like that, like the community kid, as I like to call him. So they're trying to help out this one person who's been arrested for, I guess, she was only arrested for a broken taillight, but the charges got escalated from there. So this is, you know what, going door to door, taking classes, kind of the old fashioned way. You need to get to modern generation. You know what I'm saying? So here's what we're gonna do. We're going. Tim, just look at the camera to make sure we're fine. We're going to. My beautiful hair is not caught on camera. I'm apologizing for that. We're going to film a video so that anyone can click on it whenever they want, and they know, like, here's some free legal advice for you to do so you do not get the most upended charges in the world. So that's what they're going to do. So they're going to do a full production. And it's like, I'm an amateur. So, like, don't expect the best quality content, which I'm like, so basically like my show. Or maybe a little better. Who knows? So we're off to the races there. I know Nolan and Chen are talking smack about Tim. Well, Chen is mostly, and Nolan's trying to give her some like really good advice, but she's like, "This is not you solve my problem time. This is we talk about why Tim sucks," which I'm like, "Oh god, that sounds like the name of a podcast." I love this show so much. They're responding to a fire over at the train track area. They see a lot of things. So I'm kind of like, you know, thrown out the train carts. It's just a freaking mess over here. It's a massacre. They headed, and guess who we see? And I'm just trying to think, they recognize this guy? I know this guy personally. I've seen this guy before, but I'm like, where have I seen him before? And I'm like, oh my god, it's the dude from the that whole like, you know, like that temporary like new rookie episode we got in season 3. You know, those like newcomers that like were supposed to like, you know, the two new guys who were supposed to finish up Nolan's extended training period. I forgot about those two. And well, it's the guy who shot up the freaking the watch room, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's back. And apparently he's a train sergeant officer, so he's kind of a big deal around the train tracks. And you know, he's kind of still wanting to get into law enforcement. This is kind of like the equivalent to it, which I'm like, you know what? That is perfectly fine. It's been some time since we last saw him, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna criticize the dude. I'm gonna actually praise him that he's, you know, he's still fighting the good fight. So they go check her out. It doesn't seem like the perpetrators are still around, so he calls in his partner to just kind of like, you know, say the same thing. But they hear gunshots. They run over. He got shot. Some unknown assailant got away with with just one item, and you know he gets away. So Nolan and Chen investigate the cart. They only find one stolen vase from the manifesto. So that's the only thing they call upon. Lopez and Harper respond as the lead detectives on this case. So they're just trying to figure out what's going on, what's up, like why just one vase? Like there's something specific about this vase that we need to find out. So where do we go from here? Okay, so I forgot to mention. So the train that they attacked was part of the larger collection of seized items from a arrested individual much time ago, and so they're just trying to sell. The state's trying to sell off his properties to make the money back for the debts that he owes from his criminal charges. So that's one thing they got to do. So meanwhile, Aaron and Bradford are talking about like what Tim tests does Tim have in store for Aaron, and Tim's like, you know what, not like I trust Harper's training enough that you don't really need a Tim test. What you're basically already set in stone to get out of the FTO program and become an official cop like everyone else. But he does want to test him on like, what is your superpower? Like, what is that one thing you bring to the table that rarely any other cop around us has? So he brings up the example like Harper is very determined. She has her experience, so she knows what to get done. Chen has her empathy, and Nolan talks a lot, which I'm like, Yeah, that's our Nolan. That's the star of our show. Like, there's not really much to say about that. So they're trying to figure out, what is Aaron's superpower? What does he bring to the table? Which I'm thinking to myself, I never really thought about that. Like, yeah, I always classify it as it's their personality traits, but yeah, no, yeah, Bradford is right. Like, they all have their own powers. They all have their own, abilities that they bring to, when they are on the case of something. And yeah, that's a good thing, because Aaron is his entire character journey up to this point, like from what we've seen, is just him moving on from the from what he went through with his friend's death. Now that that's over, he's kind of like officially moved past it. Now it's like, who is he now? Like, what kind of cop is he gonna be moving forward? That's kind of what they need to figure out, as well. Meanwhile, over on the other side of town, production has begun on Wesley's video for car advice. Well, how do you advice on how to avoid escalation while getting arrested. So they're doing that scene, and it's pretty funny just seeing them. Like, these are actors playing characters who are trying to act as well, which is pretty hilarious. I always love seeing this, and they're definitely not actors. They're trying their damn best to like perform and trying to be the best they can be, trying not to be like scripted or something. It's pretty funny, and they somehow wheeled Gray into this. I'm like, Gray has nothing else going on except, I'm gonna be an actor for this video that doesn't really affect me that much, because guess what? Gray gets those like random episodes where he's like a focal point and then he just disappears for a while to background work, and I'm like, don't do Gray dirty. But it was pretty funny to see Gray like literally get director handled by this kid. Like the moment where like he puts his arm on his big shoulder, and he's like, what you doing? What you do? You better have another purpose for that arm. It better be passing through. But it's hilarious. It's pretty hilarious. So from that, we head back over to Nolan and Chen and the Harper and Lopez team, and so they got fingerprints off the gun that they found, which Chen had to dive into a dumpster for, because she's very, very eager to get as much credit as she can on this arrest, this potential arrest. So they get a match. It's a man that just recently went on parole. The only thing that connects him to the Voss is that he was the cellmate of the guy who owns the Voss originally. So they head over to his house to arrest him and interrogate him. However, they look into it. The vase has already been destroyed, and the guy's already like dead. So yeah, so that kind of leads into nowhere. They recreate the vase off camera, and they figure out that one specific piece is missing. So they want to know why that one individual piece of the vase is so important. Before they can continue, Badger shows up. Initially, I felt so bad. Like, this scene was kind of tough. Not in a funny way, but like just in like a sad way. Because Badger came over thinking that, oh, I'm involved in this case because my partner got shot. Like, I have a reason to be here. And Harper and Lopez kind of dismiss him like, we'll email you what we find. So that's all you can really do. Right? Just wait by your email and see what you can do from there. And it really sucks, because he feels like he wants to be there. He kind of does have a place to be there, but really they don't really trust him enough to be there, if that makes sense. It sucks for him, and no one tries to comfort him, and they're like, hey, look, I'm already proud of you for being where you are now, so don't take this as like a sign of defeat or whatever. So keep doing what you're doing, but it does suck. I think they get a break in the vase that the only next people that would know about this vase would be the guy's kids. So they call them over. So Lopez and Harper take the oldest, Chen takes the middle, and Nolan gets the youngest. And as much as they're all different, they all have their different attitudes, different style, different reactions, they all are mutually very awful human beings who are just rich. They're rich and they've been corrupted, so they don't really advise much help, and so their only real option is to go after the dad and see what he knows. I know, I forgot, yeah, so Aaron and Bradford stop over a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, I forgot what supercar it is, but they pull over a guy trying to steal it. It's Aaron still trying to figure out his superpower, and it's kind of rough. His interrogation, his skills of talking, a little rough in my opinion, but he gets the job done. The guy does not know how to drive his car at all, which I'm like, dude, I mean, to keep in mind, I never drive one of those cars before, so I'm like, I don't even know how I would start it up. So I'm really not trying to be offensive, but I am trying to be like, okay, you didn't plan this out really. Like you knew you were gonna steal a car like this, and you didn't know how to drive it. It's pretty pathetic in my opinion. I know they respond to another call afterwards where it's this guy who's metal fishing and he finds bunch of random shit, including a sword, which was recently used, well, which was suspected to be the item used in a recent decapitation not too far away from the area. So they presume that to be a piece of evidence, and the guy also whips out a grenade he found. Aaron tries to be protectful of Bradford and literally shoves him out of the way and like is on top of him, which Bradford's like, you do not have the power of predicting threat. You do not have danger sensitive or spider sense. You don't have that. So I know. I keep saying no a lot. That's my new Aaron calls up a friend who was a bladesmith to kind of figure out where this blade might have come from. They do get a name. They get a match. In that case, it's already like locked and closed right away. So the filming on the video is continuing, and it's very, very rough because this kid's like really like one of the specific, like, I need my shots. It's one of those over perfectionist type of things. You know how it is. The day's done. He's going off to edit, and James is more certain than ever. Like, yeah, he needs to talk to Harper, make sure this is exactly what she wants before they get married, because they want to make sure everything's been crossed and everything's been dotted, which Wesley gives his legal advice like, yeah, you have a 50-50 chance of this actually going like the way you expect it to be, and all James has to say is like, yeah, you're really not the best in motivation, you really aren't. So I'm like, you know what, you take what you can get. That's all I can say. You take what you can get. So we cut them over to that night. Nolan and his girlfriend had a very nice dinner. Very lacy dress, presumably coitus, as she'll say later on, is about to initiate. A badger shows up on his doorstep with some breaking news. Like, he was looking at the photos that they send over him, and they're trying to figure it out. And he found that the vase piece is missing, but if you zoom in enough, you see numbers on them. Which I'm thinking, okay, first of all, I'm pretty sure someone must have like thought, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's figure out if there's any description or anything. I guess they just wanted to get Badger like, no, Badger found this out, so he deserves a place on this team. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, that probably makes sense. And he says like, this could be numbers to an offshore bank account. So I'm pretty sure he must have known at some point he was gonna get caught. So he probably has some money stashed away. So if he needs to escape and be on the run, he has money to access to. So then we cut to the next day where Badger presents his findings, and they figure it out, and they do confirm it. It is these are numbers, so they presume they go from there, and they just stay back to like do more research. Badger's officially on the team. Harper and Lopez head over to the prison to meet with the guy, and the guy immediately confessed like, yeah, those are my accounts. I left the password in a music box, which is in the next shipment of his items that's going to be sold off for auction. So. And I'm just like, damn, this guy really just flat out like, here it is. These are my kids now. They would probably know. Like, if anyone's after them, it's them. And they're like, damn. He's like, listen, they testified against their own dad. So if they go to jail and you need a testifier, I'm right here. So I'm like, damn, this guy really hates his kids. It's not even that funny. So from then they cross back over. So they find out that it's coming tonight on a shipment. So they need Nolan, Badger, and Chen. And this warms my heart a little bit. Like, he's included. He's part of this. So they head over to the train tracks. And obviously Badger's like overwhelmed. Like, I can't believe I'm actually here. I'm on duty. They again notice that one of the train carts caught on fire. So there's a diversion of the car that presumably has the items that they're looking for. So they head over to that spot that would presumably where they'd be at if there was a detour. They find the kids fighting over the music box. And it's pretty fun. Like, this entire subplot felt like Shen just needed a win. But it turns out Badger needed the win. And this reminds me of How I Met Your Mother, my favorite show on the planet, where there was an episode where the gang were running to a restaurant, and they were taking multiple ways, like bus, train, walking, running, taxi, or shortcuts. And the way they framed that episode was like, they framed it on perspectives like why this character needed to win. This is why Chen needed to win and why Badger needed to win. And Chen does the right thing, even though that she's involved in the final arrest. It was Badger kind of really took it home, as well as pulled the gun out of his ass. So I was not expecting that from an episode, but guess what? We're living and we're learning. So Chen decides to give Badger the final call to make the final arrest, which it's heartwarming. So, yeah, the kids' case are shut because the kids literally confessed that their oldest one was the one who made the original killing, and so this is all his fault. And it's like these kids hate each other. It's like, Jesus, money can really corrupt a human being. It really can. So Badger's given a job well done, and he's happy. He's like, hey, listen, I'm a hugger, and I'm like, that is great. That is great. I really hope Badger does not make like a Facebook, like a freaking messenger group with like the train gang or like the robbery kids gang. Like, I really do not want it. Like, look, Peacemaker did that well enough, but let's not give it to the rookie. Let's let Badger like have his moment and like leave the history books forever. Let's hope that happens. Yeah. So meanwhile, back the second day of Aaron and Bradford's TL day. I know, like Bradford said before, when they head back to the station on the first day, is that the only thing I can say you're basically Bruce Wayne without being Batman. You're just rich. You're not rich anymore, but you got the rich connections. So that's kind of how I view you as your superpower. They respond to a 911 call relating to a woman who, her ex-husband, I'm presuming, returned from prison. He's on parole, and he wants to see her and his son kind of like move back into life, like kind of like, let's get back to normal. But she's not having because she's not. It's been 5 years since you were here, so they've moved on. They have new lives, and it could have gotten worse and ugly. But Aaron pulls him aside, like, look, I know you've been imagining this since you were in prison, like the day when you can return to your family and resume your life. But in reality, they moved on from you. Like, they had to keep going. They couldn't just wait around for you. They can't press pause in their life, because 5 years is a lot of time. Like, from 2022 to thinking back to 2017, I'm a completely different person. Like those are two completely different times for me. A lot can happen in 5 years. You really can't expect someone to stay the same after 5 years alone. So, you have to. Aaron advises him, like, take a step back, readjust, focus on you getting back into society, and give them time to, like, to the idea of, like, hey, he's back on the outside. He can be a father again, but they have to be open and ready to the idea that you will be back in their lives. So he has to think about that. So he does. He backs off. He gets the number for the community center so he can start fixing his life up, and he heads off, and it's a very nice course of action he performed. It was very nice. Meanwhile, I think the last thing is, so they head into the second day of production for the filming. This was when Harper kind of pulls James away from him while he's filming, and Harper, because the night before when James returned to Harper's apartment, he became honest with her and said, like, look, I want you to marry me for loving me, not because you just don't want to be called a baby mama. She thought about it, and she's like, yes, I want to be your wife. I want to wake up to you every single day for the rest of my life. So yes, I will marry you. James uses this opportunity to properly propose to her, and she accepts, of course, with the condition that if anyone asks, I propose first, which I'm like, that is freaking hilarious, but it works. It very much works. So so they're happy. They're not engaged properly. So I think after all the cases are wrapped up, it's the big night. Everyone's at the reception, and everything's going well. Like, everyone's celebrating, everyone's catching up. Now Harper's daughter's there as well. Bradford gives Aaron a little word of encouragement. They're like, hey, look, I think your superpower is your experience on being inside a prison and having that incarceration time does help you, make you a positive force, helping other people that are in your position, that are on the streets, that are not a cop. So that's your superpower, which is great. It's very nice. It very much is. Everyone's happy. The happy couple show up in amazing wardrobe, and everyone's just happy. Turns out Harper's daughter is very happy on the wedding, and then he makes you happy, makes me happy. It's like they're all one big happy step family. Which, honestly, I felt like her presence in this episode was like, was she going to reveal about her dad, about the whole pregnancy? Because, again, that is still sticking out my mind. Like, around the same time this happened. Harper slept with her ex-husband. So I'm like, there has to be it would be the biggest payoff in the world if they just remember that night and we resume that day. Or they could just be innocent. Hey, look, Harper's is pregnant with his baby, and that's it. It could be like that. I'm inclined to believe the latter now, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. So the community kid pulls up a video after Grace's speech with their blooper reels, and it turns out he was actually filming the entirety of when James proposed to her, and it's very sweet. It's very nice. They all dance. Nolan and his girlfriend, Lopez and Wesley, and everyone's just grooving out to the music. And Brad remembers something from the end of season 3 that like, I owe you a dance. And all he says is like, technically I owe you a dance. And she's like, I know, it's not technically. And it's nice that they got their dance. I know, like, over the week, I noticed some Chenford tweets. I think that's their official ship name, I guess. So this is my message to you. I know everyone believes like it has to be a thing. Like, look, I've said it since episode 1. Like, I thought that was how it was gonna go, but it wasn't. Like, it's weird. Like, they act like brothers and sisters, but they act like they could be like a very happy couple. It's very much of a unique case. I don't know how I personally feel about it. Like, then again, I trust the writers to know what they're doing, what they're charting the course is. They're both in committed relationships. I know, like, people say, oh, this is the big dance. I'm like, Jesus, I have not seen this much attention since more shipping from Pokemon XY and XY and Z. I mean, seriously, it's a lot. But if they end up being together, look, it is what it is. If they're happy, there's definitely some sort of connection between each other. I've seen it before in person. Just because it is the case doesn't mean it actually is. It was a very nice, sweet dance. It was very much Bradford being in touch with his emotions. But remember, they're both in relationships right now, so hit a pause on it. If it does happen, it does happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm pretty sure the writers know what they're planning for. So trust the writers. They know what's up. And the episode ends with everyone being happy and dancing on the floor, and that's where our episode ends. So a very heartwarming episode of The Rookie. The Rookie always knows how to make the best of everything. And I thought this was another great episode for the world. They've just been on a banger, like a banger street as always. Topping the last one, or maybe being just around the episode beforehand. Like, it's always amazing. It's always great. I'm happy Harper's married. I'm happy. I'm still thinking there's probably going to be a chance that plotline's going to come back, but we just don't know yet. It was funny to see just some funny acting, like very rough acting happening, and I can't really say because I used to act back in the day, so I really can't say that myself as well. But it was fun to get Badger back in, like, remember that character and just kind of continue bring him back for a fun episode. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll see him again. Maybe we won't. But I think they did enough justice for that character, making him like a joke and then having him come back. So that was great. So I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of The Rookie? I like to talk. I always like to talk, so leave a comment down below. And I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the Two besides our Rookie reviews, we're doing Walker episode reviews each and every week after a brand new episode on the CW on Thursday nights. So check them out then. If you don't care about The Rookie, so here's the big game plan. Next week, we're off the air, so we're off for a week. But when we come back, well, we're off next week because of Easter Sunday, so we're sadly off. But after that, we come back for the final run of episodes, the last 4 episodes of season 4, but which kicks off a 2-part event, which is the Rookie spinoff backdoor pilot with the new character Simone. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, of course, if that spinoff does get picked up to a full series, we will review that whole series. But right now, we're going to get introduced to what the spinoff world might be. We're getting a little taste of it. It's still a Rookie episode, but we're getting that spinoff backdoor pilots. It's a new game for us. We've done it for Nancy Drift with Tom Swift already, so we'll see how that goes. But again, we will very much see how that goes, and then after that, we roll into the finale episodes, and then we go from there. On the week afterwards, we'll get after the Rookie season 4 finale, we will either get the season 4 review or we will get the season 5 predictions. I don't know yet. Normally nowadays, I wait till my thoughts on the final episodes and then I announce how the order is. So we're basically good after next week. We're good to the end of May. So stay tuned for that, which also coincides with me going into my next review series, which I'm very thankful that it's very planned out for me, but that's just That's how it's going to be. So after next week, one more week off. Enjoy your Easter Sundays if you do enjoy that. But after that, you get me for a straight 6 weeks. So stay tuned for that. So again, this has been What's the Do from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode review is live. Please also like, favorite, share if you want to. Please also ring the bell. Please also follow us on social media. Stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for the channel. But until we see each other again in 2 weeks for the final run of stuff, I'll see you guys until then. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.